Hello everyone and welcome back to another behind the scenes video. Today we are going to be doing a behind the scenes designing a new minigame. I already know what the minigame is that I want to design. Well, I don't know what the game is, but I know what I want to use, and I want to use armor trims. So I've already done some down here as an example. So if you don't know what armor trims are, they're basically fancy decoration that you can add to your armor now. So there's all these smithing templates. Let's go and grab just some gold leggings as an example, and let's pick a gem. Let's go with amethyst. So if you don't know how they work, basically you take whichever armor you want. So for example, I'm going to use gold leggings. You take whichever gem or ingot you want. So it can be anything that is from an ore or amethyst. I've picked amethyst for no real reason, apart from I think it looks cool. So yeah, I am going to use the amethyst for my armor trim. So I'm going to put that in now. And then also you need a smithing template. And you can find these all across your world in lots of different structures. I actually found out that pre-existing structures before the update can generate these randomly in their chests again. So if you've got like jungle temples or desert temples or anything like that, make sure that you don't break the chests, because otherwise you might not be able to get these in your pre-existing structures. I've probably used the wrong armor trim for this one, but if I put this on, you can see now my gold armor looks really funky. And yeah, I've always said that armor trims would be great to do a mini game with. I've always said I wanted to do a game with them. The only thing is, I don't just want to do the obvious thing, which is a memory game. Like, I think it's very easy to sometimes do the obvious. And the obvious thing would be, of course, to do something like Fashion Sense, which is a Stampy game, where you've got like an armor stand that gets like covered up, and then basically like you have to remember what is on the armor stand and then replicate it. And I think that is a very boring idea. Like, it's definitely a game and it can be fun, but it's not very original. And sometimes I do think that it is very easy to do the obvious, and I just don't want to do the obvious. So let me give an example. Do you know what? I'm just going to use normal armor just because armor trim takes ages. So let's say it's all of these like this, and then let's put this on here. So basically, if I put this armor stand on here with all this armor, if I drop this, it's very easy to kind of do a game where when it passes through this gap like it has, you have to remember. The only thing is you can use ways of memorizing it, and that can make the game fun. Like, for example, if you say really fast what the order is, you can remember. So like diamond, iron, leather, leather, diamond, iron, leather, leather, diamond, iron, leather, leather, diamond, iron, leather, leather. Like, that's a really easy way. And I know I've got these in my hotbar. I'm just going to very quickly I didn't get rid of that. I'm going to get rid of them and then I'll prove it again. So, yeah, like you can just go like diamond, iron, leather, leather, diamond, iron, leather, leather. And it means that these sorts of games can be really difficult to do. And of course, if you like make it so there's 2 rows or something, it can make it a lot better. But I don't want to do a game like this. It's too boring and too unoriginal. So I'm going to try and come up with something else. It probably will have to be a memory game though, just because these don't do anything. Like, the decoration of the armor trim is literally just for decoration. It doesn't do anything else. So it probably will be a memory game, but I want a twist. I want a twist on a memory game that is about using armor trims, because otherwise it will just be like every other game that people will probably do with these. So yeah, I do want to come up with something a little bit more original, a little bit more different, kind of what people have done before. Because a memory game is the only way. I mean, there are probably other ways you could do it, but I'm not entirely sure what those are going to be, to be honest. So yeah, I'm going to have to do some thinking and see what I come up with. Hopefully I'm going to be able to come up with something a little bit more original, but I guess we will have to see. I don't want it to be about you wearing the armor either, because if I do a game where you've got to show by wearing it, that's a little bit like Fishy, which is a Stampy game, and I don't want to do a game like Fishy. So yeah, I'm a little bit stumped. I don't know what game I'm going to do yet. I just kind of hope that I'm going to be able to come up with something at least interesting, but I guess we'll see when we actually get to that. So yeah, I'm going to have to start thinking about what type of game I want to do. Like, it probably will have to be a memory game, but I will have a think and see if I can come up with anything else. But it probably will be a memory game. I just want a twist. That's all I want. So I'm going to do some thinking, see if I can come up with anything else, and I will be back once I have done that. Okay, so I have been doing some thinking. So I've had an idea, and I kind of want to brush it through with, well, I mean, I'm not going to ask for your opinion, but I want to kind of show you what it was that I came up with and why I decided not to use it. So basically, I was doing a bit of playing around and I built this. And basically, the plan was to do it as a 1v1 game where you'd both go into this room. You'd then go into the other person's room, set up their armor stand with whatever trim and colour and type of armour that you want. You would then leave the room, and then, there'd have to be a smithing table here too, so you can actually do the trimming. So there'd have to be one there. Or actually, maybe I could do it so it's more symmetrical, so it's easier like that. Could be a little bit easier. But anyway, so that would be the plan. And then you pull this lever to basically like shut them off, and then basically to reveal you do this. I realised that this whole mechanism of pulling up like concrete padded blocks, something reminded me of Fishy, and I don't really like that. And also this is a bit small and a bit boring, and it is literally just a memory game, and I didn't think of any twist, and that is kind of why I decided not to do this, because I just thought it was a bit boring, a bit unoriginal, and I really only did this anyway just as a test. So yeah, this idea basically went out the window like pretty much as soon after I built it. I'm going to be honest with you. But yeah, after that, I had an epiphany, and I basically realised that these sorts of games are really hard to do without a twist. So I spent ages trying to think about what type of twist I wanted to do, and then I came up with this idea. So basically, I thought about an idea where you'd both be here, so these would be blocked off, these armour stands, and then in this chest would be all of the ingots and gems that you can use to colour your armour trim with. But of course, I want the game to be not just a memory game. I wanted it to have a bit of strategy. So I was trying to think like, well, what could you do to be strategical to make the game just interesting every time you played it? So I thought, right, these blocks could go down to block. But then I came up with the idea of maybe there could be, say, 2 armour stands here that you're trying to put your replica armour on. And then I thought maybe there could be like, say, like a bell that you would ring to mark when you finish. So maybe you could like, maybe once you're happy with it, you can ring the bell, which will mean that will be the end of the game. So I quite like that, but I was thinking like, well, what else could I do? So I thought maybe these armor stands could get displayed for maybe like a split second or something so you can see them, but then they'll get closed off. But then I thought, what if like during the game you can reveal the armor stand again just to have a look to help you, but there should be a consequence for doing that. So I was thinking, right, what could I do as like a consequence for pressing a button to reveal the armor stand for a second? So I was thinking like what I could do to help that out and to make it so it's risky to press the armor stand. And I realised that a cool idea would be to have a dropper which would have, I guess it would be a barrel on top. So every time you press the button, it would dispense an armor trim into this barrel here, which would mean that then your team or the other team would then could then grab that armor trim to help them out. But maybe like every 20 seconds or something, an armor trim could get put in there anyway, just because there are going to have to be some, of course, in there already. So that was kind of my idea. And it means that when you press a button, it's risky because you could accidentally put an armor trim in there that you want. I might also do it so at the start. Oh, I did not mean to put that in there. I could also do it so maybe at the start of the game, like 2 armor trims get dispensed anyway into that barrel, just to kind of help. Could be quite cool. So let's just pretend where the buttons are. So let's do. Oh, that went off. So let's go and grab a button. What type of button should we do? Let's do a cherry button because they're new. So let's pretend that there's 2 buttons here like this, and then maybe like when you press that, it would display this for a second, but it would also, after it's displayed it, go and put an armor trim inside of the barrel here, which would mean that if the other person's watching you press the button, they could rush to the barrel to see if they've got the armor trim that they want to then do it. But of course, like, you know, if you're not used to knowing what the armor trims look like on an armor stand, on the armor, it means that you don't know if that armor has got, and of course you could learn over time, but it means that, you know, you have to take a risk, and you could take the armor stand just to do that. Another way I could do it is I could have two barrels, so one on either side, and then have a divider in the middle like this. The only thing is with doing this that I don't really like the idea of is that if I've got two sides like this, it's basically like every other minigame I've probably ever done in my life. And like, I just don't really like the idea of that. And then maybe like there could be where the barrels are, but I just don't like the idea of having a divide in the middle, because otherwise it's just two rooms and one person goes in one room, one goes in the other, and you know, it's just a bit boring and a bit bland. And you know, like every other minigame I've ever done is basically exactly this. Especially with like colours down the middle. Let's pretend it's what colours can we grab? Let's do yellow and orange, and this would be like the orange side, and that would be like the yellow side. Like you can see what I mean by like how boring this would be to just have like you know, like, so why can't I grab this? Okay, no, I won't worry about that. But yeah, like you can see what I mean by like how it would look like every game where it's just like, oh, it's the orange team versus the yellow team, and of course yellow and orange look good with quartz, but I don't want it to be a case of two coloured teams just battling it out. Like, because if I do a divider, I will probably have to have colours just to make it easy to tell which side is which when it comes to judging them at the end. And I just don't want to do it. So I think what I'm going to do is not have divider. I think I'm going to keep it as a big open arena. Plus, I think it'll just be a lot cooler just having it so you can roam around wherever you want. And then I think I'm then just going to say that I'll have one barrel that you have to fight over. I think that's going to be a good idea, but I'll do some thinking and I'll come back in a sec. Okay, so I have been doing a lot of thinking and I've been doing a lot of playing around with different things. So I kind of broadened my idea that I had of doing a big open arena with the whole barrel mechanic where the armor trims get dispensed. So I basically upgraded it to this. So this is what I did before, but as I said, I didn't really want to do two colours and a line down the middle. Like, it's very boring, very unoriginal and very typical me. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to do it. So instead of it being like that, it's basically a circle. So now these would be like where the armour stands would go. So you can imagine like these would be these corners like this, and then would be here. I also thought I could do it as a 4-player game instead. I thought 4 people would work a lot better than 2. It also means that then we don't have people sitting out. But I basically thought that this will work a lot better. And then these gaps here would be where each individual person's barrel would go. And maybe only them can access that room somehow or something like that. I thought that could be a cool idea. I then realised I don't like this shape, and the reason why I don't like it is it just feels too claustrophobic. Like, you don't have much room to walk around, and it's basically all walking in one circle, and I just don't like it. So I basically scrapped this, but afterwards I had an epiphany, and this is a very strange idea. So I was thinking what the game should look like, and I realised that every time I say the word trim, it makes me think of a barber shop. like, you know, you're going for a trim. It just made me think of like a barber shop. So I thought, do you know what? Why don't I do the game inside of a barber shop? And I'm not joking. I literally had this idea and it's entertained me ever since. So yeah, I thought that. And then I come up with a name as well. I thought if it's going to be in the barber shop, it should be called... Are we all ready for this? This is like the best name ever, by the way, that I've ever come up with. I thought it should be called Nice Trim. Because, like, that's kind of a saying anyway. Like, when you get your hair cut, people say, oh, nice trim. And also, like, it's exactly what you're doing in the game. Like, you're trimming armour. It just works out so perfectly. And the whole idea of doing it in a barber shop just really makes me laugh. So that's kind of what I've done so far. And I know it's a stupid idea, but what do you expect from me? Like, I don't want to do the obvious anymore. I'm fed up with it. So I looked like at barbershops and I realised that they have this kind of like weird pole thing where it's like blue around the bottom and then striped with like red and white going the entire way up. And I really like tried doing this like on the top of the game, but then it just looked really big. And then like I tried doing them like round the sides here, but then they just looked like sticks. And then I even tried doing like kind of that shape on the sides, but it just looked too big and too bulky. So I kind of like this. I think this looks nice. I've just realised I've used quartz for this, not white concrete. It doesn't matter. But yeah, basically, I've kind of scrapped that idea of doing those poles. But I do like the idea of doing it in a barbershop. And also, it gives me the opportunity to build a barbershop because I don't have a barbershop in my world. And I think that it'd just be really funny to have a barbershop that is just secretly a minigame about trimming armour. It just makes me laugh and it's entertained me ever since I thought the idea. And I just want to do a barbershop because... Right, anyone who's built shops, let's have a little one-to-one and let's be honest, right? The shops don't do anything, okay? Let's admit it, they don't do anything. The shops, they just sit there and they don't do anything. And literally, like, we build shops for no reason because they just sit there and no one ever goes in them. So this way, it means I can have a barber shop that actually has a purpose because... the barbershop will act as a mini game that you can play. And also if you want to go and like do a role play of getting your hair cut or something, you can. So I just think that it's just a nice idea. And then for like the shape going this way, I thought that maybe it could be like a box like this. And then this would be like, say, like the shape of the shop. And then like that wall there would be where you'd be looking for like your armor stands. So maybe like in here, we could do like a counter along here somewhere. So let's just say the counter is quartz bricks. So let's just pretend this is the counter along here. Then like there could be like this wall would then be built up with the black concrete. And then maybe there could be like mirrors here, which is where you look through at your armor stands to basically try and find them. And then there could be seats. Let's just get some seats as examples. Maybe there could be like a seat here and a seat here. And I did that one off. And then these could be where the armor stands are that you're trying to put your armor on. So can you see what I mean by like this could be a really interesting idea. And I'm still doing the whole like idea of you can press a button to have a glimpse at the armor, but if you do, it will like benefit everyone else and you, of course, as well. Like you could get an armor trim that you want. So I like that idea. I think this is going to be a really interesting idea, and it's different from kind of a memory game using armor trims that people would have before. And then maybe here could be the back room where that barrel is. So maybe like here-ish could be, because they usually have like stock rooms anyway in barbershops. So maybe here could be like a little stock room where the barrel could be. The only thing is if the stock room's here, it means like it kind of gives whoever's closer a bit of an advantage because it's less further to walk. So yeah, it might not be there. It might be like in a different place or something. But I do like this idea, and I'm so set on the idea of doing a barbershop now that I just don't think I'm going to change my mind. I think I really just want to make this work. So I'm going to work with this idea. I'm going to build a barbershop, and we're just going to have to see if this actually ends up being the idea that I stick with, or whether this be the end like result, or is this just going to be the result that ends up being scrapped and I end up just going back to building a very simple mini game with no theme. So there's two outcomes. It could either go really well or really bad, but I guess we will see in a second because I'm going to go and do some building. Okay, so I think I have finally finished designing my nice trim minigame. So I kept with the barbershop. I just really liked it. So this is kind of what the outside looks like. You can see I kept the name Nice Trim. This is kind of what the inside looks like. You can see we've got 4 different colours: orange, green, yellow and purple. I was originally going to do blue and red instead of orange and purple, but then I realised we got red here and we've got blue here. So I realised it probably wouldn't make sense to do those colours, so I switched them to orange and purple. Got red and white checkered pattern on the floor, a whole load of seats as well. I could also do maybe signs on the side of these seats as well. Could look quite nice like this. I think that'll look quite nice. So yeah, these are where the armour stands would go. You can see they're easily on display so you can see them. These buttons would be what you would press to shut the door. I haven't done the redstone yet, but I will show that off soon. This room, back here, let me just go and grab a... Oh, why can't I grab the button? There we go. Have I got it? There we go. So this room behind here is the behind the scenes room where you would go and set up the armor stand. So we got the purple room in here. We've got the yellow one here. We've got the green one here and the orange one here. So these are where you'll go to set up the other people's armor stands. And then then to get out, these are the barrels, which will have the armor trims that you'll get when you press the buttons or after every 20 seconds as well. And then also there is going to be, I guess I need to put some smithing tables in. Where could I put them? I guess I could put maybe one here and here. They might not stay there, but I think they look okay for now. I might move them to somewhere else a little bit more later. So those will be where you'll trim your armour. So yeah, so that's kind of what that looks like. You can see that these are what the front seats look like. I spent a long time doing those seats. This is the button that you'll press to end the game if you want to submit your results and finish the game. It will open that iron door. Because this button won't be here, and it will also reveal these armor stands so you can see if you got it right. And that's pretty much it. So this is what the outside looks like. The roof I'm not very happy with, so that might not stay. In fact, that probably won't stay the way that it is. But yeah, that is pretty much my nice trim minigame 100% designed. A very easy one to design. I knew what I wanted to do straight away, pretty much. But yeah, I hope you have all enjoyed this behind the scenes video. It has been a fun one. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you at some point.